Hey, hi guys. Dude, this is the second episode. This is the I think this is the third episode of this Python series. And well, in the second episode, I introduced about the print function. The first episode we talked about Python is. Maybe you should check those videos out. You can just go to my YouTube page. I haven't planned on like putting the links on them yet, but maybe in the next episode I will. For this episode now, we're going to introduce variables. If you haven't worked with the variables and if you have worked with the variables in Scratch before, this episode may be easy to follow for you, as the same logic from Scratch follows the same thing. You have a variable. You have some kind of value, like say, you can. A variable is basically something that can be changed or measured, or in the and you and in our original Scratch, we were able to set variables and change variables by a certain amount. And in this the same thing. Instead, we can just call in a variable. Say I want to name a variable, say a. Then we want to assign a some value, and in order to do that, we just do a equal sign. Well, as I'm just going to let a be some random number I wrote, say 1, 2, 3, but you can write any number. Like this can be any number, like a whole number or integer. Hey, this can also be the strings that we talked about in the print. And hey, remember when I said the print function can generate anything? This print function can also generate the values assigned to these variables too. That, as you can see here, maybe we could wait. There we go. There we go. Generated hello, which is what we assigned to a. Then what if I change this to say I then it will change. Okay, sorry for the typo. Sorry for the typo there. There, there we go. Uh, with these new variables comes a new function called the input function, which can be assigned to variables. The input function, this will ask this when you run this the program will ask the user for the input for a, since the uh, as the it says the function says here. And it's basically the ask block from Scratch. Yeah, so I'm just going to write enter variable, and we're gonna write some simple code like this. The program will ask us for the variable for what we want to assign for a. I'm just going to write and and after I put the user input, this is my user input. The program will assign the value to the variable here, and then it runs this code, which will print, and then runs the print function below, which will generate what was assigned to a. Now we know what variables are and a new input function. Let's write some code. But wait, before we do so, I want to introduce another function called the evaluate function, or EVO for short. What this does is, well, it determines what type of data type that is assigned. For example, if I if I if I write something, say like a string, that it will convert it into a string. If I write something as a whole number, it will consider the data type as integer, and if what I wrote was a decimal number, and it will be a float. Well, to test this theory, we will back up print, and we'll also print the data type of a. We'll call this using the type function. I think I've mentioned this type function before, but what this does. But I'm just going to recap it as, because I don't know if you're still good at it or not. So basically, the type function, it will basically it generates what type of data the variables inside. For example, if I write a string, this is a string because it is composed of words. Okay, never mind. Yeah, you can't really do it with spaces. Sorry. Yeah, there you go. Alright. Okay, yeah, this only works for this only works for numbers. This only works for, yeah. As a the eval function only works for numbers, not string. Sorry. Yeah. Yeah. Keep that in mind. Yeah, keep that in mind. It only works for numbers, not strings. So now after I introduce the evaluate function and the type and and the new variables, we'll write some code with them. Uh, well, uh, what I'm going to ask you a question. How what is how may how write a program about calculating the socket area. So if you don't know what the formula for the area of a circle is, the area for the formula is like pi r squared, where pi is the ratio the diameter of the diameter to the radius, I think. Well, one thing, pi is infinite. The amount of decimal places on this constant is kind of infinite though. So we can't really take the exact value, because if I try to write the exact value, it would just take way too long. So we'll just take pi as 3.14. And then we'll ask the user input for the formula for the radius. We'll do the eval function again, because our radius is going to be some number, either either float or integer. Then we call the area, multiply radius to the power 2. Okay, we assign this as radius and not r. Radius to the power 2, that this is basically radius times radius, or radius squared for short. So if we run this, enter radius number, I'll put 3. You can assign any number we want. Okay, we forgot to print the area. We forgot to print the area. don't be like me. And it is 50.24. And maybe you can test that out with a calculator. And maybe you can test that out with a calculator, but and I believe that this is it. This is the exact value. Where if I take pi as 3.14. So yeah. What we now know, what we now know about for this episode is that a variable is like it's like there's there's like a lot of similarities between this and Scratch and start this C. And I like that. It just makes it feel a little more easier to understand. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed this video and see you in the next episode. Bye bye.